Y'all ready to go? All right, it's another great day for Lincoln, Nebraska. I tell you, what's happening with this nifty little piece adds a real piece of class to the city. So I'm thankful that you're all here today to announce one more exciting project for downtown Lincoln. This one involves major renovation of two buildings near the corner of 11th and P Streets. The plan is to add 3 new floors to the 4-story building at 2016 North 11th Street to create a new boutique hotel to be called the Kindler Hotel. The plan also includes major improvements to the adjoining commercial club building, the one on the northeast corner of 11th and P Street. The project is somewhat unusual because it involves 3 partners, and I'd like to introduce some of the people involved who were able to join us today. Nick and Brooke Castaneda, I hope I pronounced that right.
Perfect, yeah.
Okay. They are developing the Kindler Hotel, and we'll tell you a lot more about that momentarily. Dana Walsh is here, who's been working with Don Campbell, and they're a pair, right?
Yes. Hope we'll make it through the.
If you make it through this deal.
At the end of it.
They are developing the top 2 floors of the old Lincoln Commercial Club. And then David Schmidt's here, a local developer. We know David well, and he's kind of managing the development of the first 2 floors of the Commercial Club building. Do I have that right?
That's correct.
Okay. So we'll hear from all of them in the next few minutes. This project is significant for several reasons. It represents a major investment, first of all, of about $10 million in 2 of Lincoln's downtown older buildings, and it includes the restoration of many of the historic elements of the buildings. So it's a great addition to our already vibrant P Street retail corridor. And it continues the momentum that is taking our downtown to an exciting new level. I'll give you a few details of what we can expect. First, with the Commercial Club, the building on the corner. And yes, Misty's will continue to operate on the first floor. Many of the historical exterior features of the 4-story building will be restored, including second-floor windows. The other commercial space on the first 2 floors will be totally updated. The banquet room, the exquisite banquet room on the 3rd floor with its 25-foot ceiling will be restored and available for special occasions. The 4th floor will become 4 units that will be used for residential and hotel space. A 5th floor may be added for additional residential space. Next door, the new 7-story Kindler Hotel will have a reception area on the 1st floor, along with an indoor and outdoor lounge and wine bar. The upper floors will hold about 32 hotel rooms. The 2 buildings will be tied together with new elevators and infrastructure and a skywalk across the alley, which will connect the new hotel to Q Place parking garage. So with that brief overview, let me invite our team here to tell you a little more about it. And Nick and Brooke, why don't you take the lead here?
All right. My name's Nick Castaneda. It's my wife, Brooke Kindler. She's from Lincoln, and I originally from California. I lived in Arizona for several years now, I think coming on to 20 years. Brooke and I met in Arizona. She came to Arizona State University, and at that point was about 14 years ago when we met. We started coming back and forth to Lincoln, visiting her parents when we were engaged, and then also when we were married. And since then, we have 2 kids, Cade 6 and Ava 4, and so we spend some time coming back and forth. And of course, Kathy, their mom, spends time coming to visit us. But one of the things that struck me, investor in real estate primarily, and I own several apartment buildings as well as homes in Phoenix, Dallas, San Diego, Las Vegas, Cleveland, and Columbus, Ohio. And so I'm always on the lookout for sort of up-and-coming areas. I tend to be more of a bottom-up. I don't like to go into things when they look great. I like to get there when they're sort of on the upswing. And the last, I'd say, 10, 12 years, the upswing in Lincoln's been incredible. And you probably don't see that from the outside, in the inside, because you're here. You don't really notice that. But when you leave and come back, and there's constant renewal and energy that's starting to build, you start to notice those things. The arena has been, I think, a real feather in your cap that sort of developed that whole area. But the green belts throughout town and everything in the artwork that's starting to come out, it's a real nice city. Traveled here with Ross Vincent, who's a Beverly Hills designer. He's going to be he's been doing this. He normally works on high-end celebrity-type homes and boutique hotels in Los Angeles. Also done some work on the Ritz-Carlton in Los Angeles. He was shocked at he didn't know what to expect when he first came here, and he was very pleasantly surprised with the development and the way things are moving. I told this story just in a prior meeting I had, but I was downtown and I did see this blighted building, and I spent quite a bit of time contacting Dave SCHMIDT, Dick Young, originally trying to buy this building. I wanted to buy it because my idea was this is sort of a blight building. It's a sore in the middle of town, and I think I could build this up and make it a boutique hotel, something nice that hasn't been seen in Lincoln. You have some good hotel product. You don't have any great hotel product, and we want to bring that to you. We're going to have, actually it's 38 rooms initially with possibility of some expansion if that's warranted. But I think between Ross, Gil Peace, who's a local designer, and the work he's going to put into it, we're also using Euchre as in engineering, which is, confirmed with us that it's structurally sound. Kent Seacrest working with the city and everybody. It's just a great combination of people, and the influences I think that we bring from the outside. I'm not sure what I bring, but maybe a perspective. But I think when we synthesize and put it all together with a ballroom that Dana and Don Campbell are going to do, that I think a lot of people here maybe haven't seen, I think it's going to be unmatched. It'll be the main go-to wedding venue. We hope to make it the go-to hotel for local people to gather for wine at the bar, in the lobby, your friends and family coming to town. We want to be the premier place, but we also want to be specific to Nebraska and not a chain. And that's real important to me. I'm not interested in working with a chain, putting up our own money so that we don't have to follow other people's rules. I want the citizens of Lincoln to make those rules. Tell us what you want. What kind of space do you want? What kind of soap do you want? We want to use local brands. You let us know. We're not subject to anything. So we want it to be a welcoming place. It's going to be a little more expensive than some other places. I'll just say that because it has to be. Because whenever you get something of quality, it's more expensive. It just is. But our goal is to bring a niche, a small niche of a place that's representative of Nebraska, but has a touch of LA and some of the big city elements. It's a little special, though, this place, because 2 years ago, it's actually almost 3 years now, her father died of cancer, Ken Kindler. So we named it after him, and he worked in copper and different types of sort of industrial art. So what we've done is we're going to incorporate his artwork, and it's going to put Ross's talent and Gil Peace's talents to synthesize this artwork to make a Nebraskan product with a modern twist to it. At the same time, the room elements, Ken was a pretty simple man, so the room elements will probably be less simple than Ken. We're going to have beds that exceed Ritz-Carlton quality and Four Seasons quality. At least that's what you've told me, Ross, so I'll let you know when we get that. But we want to put a real quality product together in a place that's welcoming and build out our niche. And not only that, we're in a location that I think is unmatched. I was telling my wife, if you gave me a dart and you said to me, pick a location in the city where you could build a boutique hotel, I'd stab the dart right there next to Embassy Suites, the University, P Street, O Street, in between the Haymarket and the other part of town. So we're real excited about that. Have my wife speak a little bit about her dad and sort of, where the tribute comes from.
Yeah, so it's a big honor to have the hotel named after my father. Nick's had this dream of the hotel for at least 5 years that I know of, And I've always thought it was a little crazy, and especially once it became named after my family. But it's also it's very exciting, and I know that my dad would be very proud. It's exciting to see the art element brought into Lincoln, as well as just creating a new space in town. Whenever we do come back to visit, it's nice to see new places around town, but I always feel like something's missing, and so I think we're trying to create that space for people that maybe want to stop and have a glass of wine after dinner. I feel like that's kind of lacking here in Lincoln. So hopefully this lobby lounge bar area will do that, and just bring a new element to Lincoln.
And I'm not sure if it was pointed out that your mom's here today.
Yes, my mom is here today.
Mrs. Kindler,
Yep.
welcome.
Hi, my name is Dana Walsh, and I am partnering with, well, Don and I are going to be restoring another sort of a family story. Actually, Don's great-grandfather was the head of the Lincoln Commercial Club when it was built. It was started in 1910 and finished in 1912. He is Donald Miller Campbell, and his great-grandfather also founded Miller and Payne. And for people with any history of Lincoln, of which I didn't have any till I met Donald, what's amazing is he finished. This was the rendering that he had when he decided to build this. You'll notice it became a little more Nebraska, I think, as it proceeded. It's a little more solid, not quite so frilly. But he, of course, Miller and Payne in 1915, just a few years after this, built their magnificent downtown department store. So it's really quite exciting that we're doing this. Our plans were to have it as a residence and to occasionally use it for political or charity events that we put on. But then when we had this new development of the Kindler Hotel, it was a perfect combination because we'll be able to let the Kindler Hotel use this as an adjunct to their hotel, but also to let people use it much more than we would have been able to from our home in San Francisco. So our plans are to restore the ballroom and to add a billiards room, a spa on the fourth floor, a spa, a library, an office, and just make it a very, very comfortable clubby place. Because as I remember that it was noted as the most luxurious ballroom on the West back when it was built. So there you'll see what it looks like today. So you'll see we have a little bit of work cut out for us. But we find that this will be probably the most beautiful room in Lincoln, mainly because it's just got this historical value that you just can't put a figure on. So we're extremely excited about going forward with this and extremely excited about working with the Kindler Hotel. Thank you.
My name is David SCHMIDT. I'm with Concord Management and Development Company. I'm one of the partners in the Lincoln Commercial Club. My other partners are WRK and the Miller and Payne Group. So our part of this building and the project is not quite as sexy as the other two components, maybe, that we've heard about already. But I'll try to tell you just a little bit about what we're going to do on the second floor of the Lincoln Commercial Club, which is 200 North 11th Street. That is the address of the Lincoln Commercial Club. The building next door is 216 North 11th. I think maybe it was said a different address earlier. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that. What we're going to do is renovate the building on the outside significantly, and we're going to do some renovation on the inside. The Misty's restaurant will remain, as was said earlier, and they probably won't do a lot of renovation inside, to my knowledge, but we haven't sat down and talked to them too much. This is early in the game, and so we want to sit down with our other partners, such as Misty's. Nebraska Book Company is on the second floor of our building, and they are a tenant for office space. They have a educational unit in there that they use. So the rest of that floor is about 4,000 square feet, and that will be office space that we will develop out as this project progresses. I'd just like to say that Nick is hard to keep up with. He's a fast-moving guy, and I'm all on board with his upswing tempo here on what's going to happen down here. I'm fully engaged in this project. We think it will be a great project for downtown Lincoln. Thank you.
Okay, I think that's about it. I would like you all to say hello to our LA designer, Ross Vincent, sitting in back. Ross, say hello. Hi, everyone. He just gave us a little show of what it's going to look like in the interior and a little bit on the outside. And it's just an exquisite combination of copper and earth tones and materials that are so rich in nature, you immediately recognize what kind of place this is going to be when you walk in. And it's fantastic. I'm glad to have you in town. So let me see. With that, I think we covered everything. Do you have questions?
When will construction start?
There's a few variables to the construction, right?
You want to come to the
Oh,
microphone?
sorry. Yeah, there's a few variables to knowing when exactly construction will start. Our goal is May, but part of it is going through the process with the city, which I'm sure Kent and Gil Peace know more than me. But our goal is that for a completion in July. Obviously, we might have to delay the project if I couldn't get that, because it's very important. I want to have some time before the Husker football season starts, because I think that might be like drinking out of a fire hose or something if that was the first week.
You're talking about July.
July of next year, 2018, sorry. Yeah, so about, not in 6 months, no, sorry.
Pressure on it.
18 months, but an opening of summer of 2018. So a start of sometime, I think, in, what do we have for a date, Kent? Because you have a start date goal, correct? May, yeah, at least May, yeah. So that's what we're looking at. We have to do some permitting and some planning on that part, so.
This May, starting this May.
Starting this May with the actual construction part. I've started demolition partly already, so they're already starting some demolition. But it's a 15-month build-out time if everything goes perfectly. So April would be better, but May would be maybe okay.
Okay, and then I wanted to know a little bit more, you know, we have a lot of hotels in the downtown area, and you talked a little bit about how this will be unique. But can you kind of touch on that, how this will stand out from the other hotels in the Haymarket and the Embassy right across the street, and what that kind of boutique concept is?
Yeah, well, the difference is, first of all, it's going to be in the quality of the product and the quality of material. I've stayed at all the hotels, and I'm not saying they're bad hotels, but I travel to New York, LA, London, and Chicago. There's not room here for a 200 room Ritz-Carlton, because I don't think you get the attendance, but I do think between 35 and 60, 70 rooms, based on the research I've done, there's more than enough demand for that. I've talked to people that are in that niche that are feeling like they're lacking a place like that. High thread count sheets, robes, slippers, those are some of the differences. Rain shower, tile fixtures, individual soaps, not out of a banister like this. And, you know, there's several. I just think there's quality differences that we can bring. It's at a slightly higher price point, but I think realistically we can do that. I looked at demand that you have during football season. Embassy Suites is getting $560 to $580 a night, room rate rentals. We probably can't charge $1,000, but probably deserve it based on that. Based on, it's a different class of building. I think we're going to be more similar, not similar in style, but quality-wise to a Ritz-Carlton or Four Seasons.
And how do you plan to get more Nebraskans on board with that? To get that vision
Well,
fulfilled?
remember, it is a hotel, so it's not only Nebraskans, right? It's anyone traveling from outside of the area as well. People traveling to have meetings here, to State Farm employees. We have a marketing department. We're spending about $167,000 a year on marketing right now as planned, that the property managers are going to be going out, speaking to university, visiting professors, adjunct professors, people traveling from different places. The price point, it won't be ridiculously higher. It's just going to be higher to accommodate for the higher quality, the same way that buying a Mercedes costs more than buying a Chrysler. They're both good cars. They get you to the same place. So it's just a choice. But for us to have occupancy and fill rooms, we have to fill 38. Some of the other hotels have to fill 300 or 250. And I think that's where our niche is.
Talk about, you know, you mentioned you have a lot of different properties in bigger cities.
Mhm.
Lincoln's not so much a bigger city. I know you have kind of family roots here, but talk about kind of that decision to bring something like this here to Lincoln.
Well, it's like I said, it's the quality and development that you've had in the downtown and on the upswing. 14 years ago when I came here, I wouldn't have attempted a project like this. Since then, your city renovations, I noticed your artwork on P Street, what you've done in green belts. Of course, paying taxes for that green belt, got a big bill for that, just already, you know, but the developments have been, I don't mind, I'm a Democrat too, I don't mind paying taxes, you know, so, but the development into to the city and the upswing, what you had in the Haymarket. The other thing is bringing in the arena. I mean, these are bringing in concerts during the week. You're getting Tuesday, Wednesdays, because it's a pass-through city between Denver, Minnesota, and Chicago. You know, there might be some opportunities as well to lease out the entire hotel and the ballroom. They have a penthouse going in the ballroom. It's going to be gorgeous, to the artists and all of the road crew. And that could be one individual rental that would encompass during a weekday, normally a slow period of time, where we could rent the entire building and entire property. So that's another, now that's obviously a black swan event maybe, since you only have so many, but as you get more events, that could be something. But you know, we're looking for, in the pro forma, we're not even including football weekends, because those are like free spots on bingo. That's what I was telling these guys, they're just sold, right? But they're sold. You have to look at a day like today, when it's icy and you know, and we provided a walkway and a parking structure. So there's going to be some down periods. I understand that, but I think overall, the direction of your city, you probably don't see it because you're here, but the improvement's been 400%, in my opinion, and that's how I'd answer that question.
What about jobs? Do you know how many jobs this will bring?
Well, that's up to the property manager, but it's definitely going to create jobs. And as far as, you know, taxes are concerned, you have fairly high taxes here in Nebraska as well. So just looking at pro formas, it's going to produce, right now we're at a valuation of, I think, 12,500 something for tax. But as we rebuild it and it's assessed, obviously that's going to go up. In addition to that, you're about 17% for residential taxes on overnights. And you think about our pro forma, you should be making, the city's probably going to get an additional $5 to $6 million over a 10-year period, rather than a blighted building, and that's not including some of the other taxes that are coming on income. So I have looked at that, and I've looked at the profit margins. I just think there's a wide open niche. I know there'll be some competition, but I've never been afraid of competition. Spent my whole life competing. So.
Any of the project designers speak to why they wanted to keep the historical element present in these two buildings?
Well, Dana would have to maybe speak to that.
Yes, if you've not been to the Lincoln Commercial Club's ballroom, I'm going to be here this week, and I'd love to show you. I've shown the mayor, and it's amazing that when you go, I bring people from this city who've lived here for a very long time, and they're dumbfounded because no one knows it's there. And as it looks very similar to this 1915 photo. So my feeling is, as an interior designer, I want to restore this. Our part of this project is to restore this to what it would have been back in that time had they just gone full out and designed it with high-end furnishings and furniture. I will say I'm looking primarily, because we have a very different kind of space, that I'll be doing a lot of scouting for real antiques and things like that. So ours is not so much a renovation as a restoration. And quite frankly, as to why we're going to do it, again, Donald Miller Campbell is one of the LCC partners, and they've owned this for a long time, and it's a very unique space. And we originally planned to do this just as our residents, but now, again, with this wonderful partnership, we will be able to offer it much more often and much more effectively to people who want to have a little taste of that, what it was like back in the day. Well, that is going to be left up to the fire marshal, as I recall. And we're totally cognizant of that. I did some initial plans, and we figure for a sit-down dinner or something, probably not more than 150. And of course, our juggling act will be, and why I'll have to design custom some of the furniture, is that when it's going to be rented out for a big event like that, the furnishings that are in the room have to have a place to go. So I'm designing some specialty sofa seating that will be used as dining seating as well. So there's some real interesting design challenges in this, but even though they will be new pieces, they will very much reflect the period appropriate designs.
Now, is Misty's the only business open right now that will be kind of affected by this? I mean, I know they're staying open.
Yeah, I know the Nebraska Book Club.
Nebraska Book Company.
And
on
that's
second
the
floor.
second floor?
They're on part of it, about half of the second floor.
And are they moving out now?
No.
Or they'll stay there?
No, they have a lease.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll be very much affected by what we're doing on the third and fourth floors.
Not too much.
Maybe some noise.
So they plan to stay there after these renovations?
As far as I know.
Okay.
Any other questions for me?
I've got one statement that I forgot to make that she reminded me.
No, go ahead.
The biggest thing that's going to come down to for us is service. The service and the employees. Obviously, we're going to be hiring local employees. I can't promise that the manager, the general manager, we just want the best, so we'll take if they come from out of town. But the workforce is generally going to be local. What I've done is I've taken note. One example, I was in Chicago about 11 weeks ago, and I had the best service by any maid, I guess, housekeeping that I've ever had. And I talked to her, she's almost 70. She'd been working at the Drake Hotel in Chicago, big famous hotel, since the beginning of time. But it was just one of these situations where she was just right on it. She knew where you were. She wasn't overly, what, do you need this? A note, handwritten note, I noticed you used some of this. I gave you some extra ones for this. Do you need directions going anywhere? Here's a list of, and I saw her interacting with the other people that were attending the hotel and helping a little girl find the American Girl store with her mom. It was almost like a concierge service of a housekeeper. So I struck up a conversation with her. Black woman from the south side of Chicago, worked there out of high school, has been working there ever since, knew the owners, was talking about the changes that have happened at the Drake Hotel since the beginning, when it was more of a boutique hotel, even though it was large. She knew Mr. Drake, and if he noticed she's tired, he'd send her to the cafeteria for a sandwich, or he would take care of the employees. Since then, it's become a Hilton, and she was explaining the changes, and she was planning to retire this year, because she said she's sort of just fed up with the corporate culture. And I said, listen, I'm looking to do a hotel in Lincoln. I know you're not going to probably move there because you have family, but can you come out here for 2 weeks and train everybody? Because I need you to train them. And my viewpoint on service is not really, I work in the service industry of Merrill Lynch. I've worked in investment banking for almost 20 years now. It's not really about the customers, it's about the employees. Because if you take care of the employees, they want to take care of the customers, right? And my bonus structure, it will not look like, and I haven't written that up yet, but my bonus structure is not going to be, oh, we did well, the manager gets a fat bonus. It's going to go all the way through housekeeping, night watchman, everyone's accountable. There's not going to be that many, we're a small unit, but everyone deserves to participate and be part of that pool. It's not just the top people. Okay, so that's going to be important. We want to take care of the customers, but if we have happy employees, if you go to work happy every day, there's no chance you won't take care of it. So I'm going to compete. I'm going to make offers. I'm going to try to take the best employees that we can get for the ballroom, to service the ballroom, but you're going to be working in a fantastic environment, an excellent place to be where hopefully you're looking forward to going every day. And if you're not, I want to hear about why you're not looking forward to that. Satisfactory surveys, et cetera. So I think that's the key to the success of any kind of business. Usually when people don't go somewhere and a business fails, it's because they're not taking care of their employees. Simple. I have 3 secretaries. I have to take care of them. If I don't, they'll leave. They don't. They stay because there's nowhere else to go. Right? So.
Maybe I missed this part. Did you guys purchase the property from somebody here in Lincoln?
We did. We purchased it from Dave SCHMIDT, Don Campbell, a whole slew of people. That was the difficulty. It took seven people to get together, right, Dick? Dick got 2 commissions because it was that hard. I was going to take on another agent, but I said this is too hard. He's got to get my commission too, because he had a good year this year, but it's really 5 years. One.
It was 2.5 years that we're dead.
It's longer than that, Dick. You go back and look at it.
Seems
So much longer. But anyway, it's been a while, and he did a great job of bringing everyone together because there was people out of state, out of, wherever. But everyone got together, and when we finally met, all the synergies just sort of presented themselves, and it's almost eerie how complimentary the whole thing is, really, so far. So.
Mayor, could you speak to the vision of downtown, where you see it going and how it intertwines with that?
We've worked very hard since the very beginning to make an ever higher quality city, to make a city where our kids and our grandkids want to stay and want to live here and will know that the kind of life they can live here is high quality in every way. Great strides have been made in the downtown. You know now that redevelopment is spreading to University Place and out to some of our different areas of town. The university is growing. The whole economic situation remains at a very low unemployment rate. So everything continues on a great pathway. And I think from listening to these people, you can see that these are the kind of people that are going to help us get even more things done, that's going to help us to add even more to the quality of the city, which will make us a more attractive place for tourists and for others. If that's what you're looking for, that's how these people fit in. They're right in line with everything we're trying to do in Lincoln to build a city where our kids will stay. Anything else?
I'm set, I think.
All right. Well, thank you all very much. Stay tuned.